That is.
If only I had a Guinness here. Okay, I think we're live now. So, welcome everybody. We're going to start today's session. This is Talks at Infraspeak. The topic today is going to be the cleaning industry, the opportunities and challenges, hosted by Infraspeak, myself, Larry O'Brien, and my guest today is Jamie Hall, Head of Sales and Marketing at Birkin Group. What I'd really like to do is start off by allowing Jamie to to tell us a little bit about himself and his organisation, and then we'll move from there. So, Jamie, over to you.
Thanks, Larry. So, hi everyone. I'm Jamie Hall, Sales Marketing Director at Birkin. So, we're a specialist cleaning provider, one of the UK's leading cleaning providers in our chosen sectors. And so, we're currently delivering around £20 million worth of services across our sectors of corporate, public, distribution and education, across on the national footprint with circa about 1,500 team members. So again, it's been a interesting time for us, but as we're entering we're close approaching our 50th year of operation, it's been absolutely key for us in our client retention and growth strategy in maintaining our leading position is to be an innovator and to provide solutions to challenges for our clients. And hence, I say we'll be able to talk more about this today. But thank you, Larry, for inviting me onto your webcast.
Okay, thank you. And I'm Larry O'Brien. I'm the country manager for the UK here at Infraspeak. But anybody that doesn't know, Infraspeak is a 5-year-old startup. We provide an intelligent maintenance management solution for cleaning organizations and facility management companies as well as end users to basically power the intelligence behind the teams and what they do. What we want to do is, without any more time spent on it, is actually get into our subject matter. And today we're going to talk about the opportunities and the challenges that are faced in this market at this point in time from a cleaning industry perspective. Now, everybody, I can put money on it, is expecting me to start with the big COVID-19. So obviously I'm not. We will come to that shortly. But where we're actually going to start today, Jamie, is there was a bigger question on everybody's lips before COVID turned up, and that's now imminent, and that is Brexit. And how do you see Brexit in terms of a challenge and or an opportunity for people in your industry?
Sure. Well, again, it's crazy to think that Brexit was the only main challenge on everyone's lips only back in probably February. So different with COVID, and obviously it's been around for some time. It's obviously it's taken some time to come through, and we're still lacking detail on the actual parts of it, but within the cleaning industry particularly, it fits in two areas around the free trade, impacts on free trade, and then the free movement of people. On the free trade side, so sort of projecting potential implications of increasing costs due to duties and tariffs, and or delays in supply of products. Really, again, what we've been doing is we've got plans in place with our specialist supply partners to make sure that they're putting in place plans to make sure there's not interruptions of service. But ultimately, it's having the plan and then adapting that as detail or comes through. And again, it's and COVID, in a way, has added to the question of where do we get our products from? And certainly, one thing is coming back to the fore is what do we produce in the UK? What can we source from the UK? Is it an opportunity to get back to what was a real area of real strength for us of manufacturing, etc.? So is it an opportunity to look at that, the products we're using, and if we can't support and grow UK-led supplies. And on the free movement of people, again, back in pre-COVID, we saw a steady increase in the challenge around the reduction of labour, and we're seeing that in sort of applications, with new wins, bringing on new staff, etc. A reduction in applicants, but with COVID, sadly, so with the impact on unemployment, we've actually seen that the applicant number increase again. However, there still is the question of the EU settlement scheme, etc., to making sure that we get our existing EU operatives correctly processed. And again, that's just about having a plan. We've got a dedicated HR team who are working on that plan to make sure, again, as we move forward, we just deal with that. So again, it's sort of with Brexit, it is more challenge and opportunity, but again, it's just about being positive and coming up with solutions to meet it, and then we go from there.
So Jamie, the cliff edge of effectively losing all these people hasn't materialised at this point in time, and in fact, unfortunately, as you say, due to COVID, there's more opportunity for people and there's more people available, but at some point in the future, things have still got to be ironed out, and we've got to figure it out, really.
Absolutely. Just, you can only react to what's there in front of you. It's about having a plan and trying to project that as much as possible.
If we had a crystal ball, we'd both be millionaires.
Oh,
so. Okay. So what everybody expected me to talk about straight away, and you to talk about straight away, is the other issue that might have been circling for people, and that's really COVID-19 and how it's impacted you from I use the term cleaning, but I think with COVID-19, we also need to use the term sanitization perspective. Mm-hmm. And what's your experience of the impact of COVID-19 so far?
Well, unlike Brexit, sort of COVID did come out of nowhere with no warning, and there was that initial period where everyone, and look at every person, every industry, every sector was learning live in the moment, trying to work out whether this was a temporary thing, just trying to work out exactly which way was up, which obviously was an incredibly sort of challenging time just to keep things sort of going. And say as a sector that it's a service delivery sector, we were out doing our service. We couldn't bunker down. It was a case of making sure that we put things in place to make sure our teams were safe. We were able to still deliver for our clients, but in a safe manner. Obviously, as each month, sort of we're getting to understand it more. Again, it's still changing daily. But again, what we've tried to do is, again, similar to my response with Brexit, is obviously there is. We're not underestimating at all the impact and challenge that COVID has had on our country, but it's about using forums like this, or with discussing as a senior team, is looking at the solution. Is sort of what can we do to make this better? There's plenty of stats out there that do depress you, but it's about what solutions, what can we do to to move us forward on that. And that's very much what we have seen. Is it has strengthened our partnerships and relationships with our clients, because clients have needed that support and expertise at a time of real crisis. So showing that you can do that, and you can support each other in that unknown has been really powerful, and has been great. And then continuing that through as trying to give them the confidence as much as they can within legislation to start thinking about the return to the workplace, so that we can start to see that point at the end of the line when we're going to start getting people back.
Have you found the variables? I mean, obviously, it's everything in this life, it swings and roundabouts. Have you found the variables between sectors? Like the office environment. Well, people like me and many other people just stopped going to the offices. So I'm assuming your demand in that environment changed.
Absolutely. Let's say by sector, the corporate sector, yeah, absolutely. As soon as people were sort of not coming into the office. Again, the need there from our clients was to be flexible, was to make sure that we were able to balance looking after our teams and making sure that they were looked after, but also adjusting and tweaking the service. On our public and education side, it was more about where the service was maintained. It was more about how do you maintain a service without putting your teams at risk. So then, obviously, that then affects sort of the ability to deliver. Distribution again was a pretty steady to rising because of the impact COVID had on internet buying, etc. So it has very much changed, and there's a different strategy needed for each sector. But again, if we talk about the ones probably been affected the most, let's say on the corporate side, again, it's just about working with our clients when they're drawing up their return to the workplace strategy of assessing, sort of whether whatever their current services, is it fit for purpose? What does it need going forward? How can we provide that reassurance that their teams need to come back in, that they can work safely and move forward.
Now, I can totally understand that. I mean, you touched on a point as well about the safety of your operatives. I mean, talking to other people, I know that. I mean, did you struggle at any time with the PPE side of things, or was your supply chain in that place that you talked about? You've got very good partnerships in your supply chain. Were you guys able to overcome that and therefore address what the client needs were in the end while maintaining your staff safety?
I think it was something that again, we were in fortunate position of having those first connection supplier relationships. So the moment that this was on the horizon, we were able to again, and knowing our workforce, etc., put things in place to make sure that we had no negative effect. The bigger challenge was, again, by being that point of contact, that point of support for our clients, it was making sure that as they also needed products and services, that we were able to source them. But again, that was crazy. If someone told you, invest in some hand sanitizer and face masks, but where we are now, it's pretty much back to sort of supply levels should be back up to sort of manageable levels now. So again, that madness and panic is it should be now to one side. But yeah, certainly interesting times. But yeah, no, weather's well.
Definitely interesting times. Yeah, I mean, not being funny, I'm surprised a few big office complexes didn't get raided for toilet rolls. But I mean, the thing that, COVID, we've been living with it for a while now. And as you say, in sectors, it's changed. I'm guessing that's changed your service offering in some ways, because this whole sanitization issue has become a bigger issue. It's not just cleaning anymore, it's sanitization. Have you found that you had to do much in the way of changing your service offerings, or did you just have to tweak them to meet the demands of your clients for the moment, as in being in the middle of this COVID crisis? We'll come on to the future later on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure. But it required us, because again, it was just about reassurance. It started with just a complete review. Obviously, with the nature of specification for cleaning, it set a high benchmark of cleaning standards anyway. But it was looking at, and again, understanding where the risk was. So doing risk assessments on every contract to make sure you understand where the risk of COVID is on that particular contract, with the particular fabric, the layout, the usage, shifts, etc. A number of clients were using rolling shifts, etc. So it was understanding how you adapted your specification to suit that. But again, it was also working with the clients, because when this came along, it wasn't it was about making sure that, again, you still, as we commit to a best value proposition, where it's saying, look, how can we use the team most effectively to increase that sanitization, again, to make sure that we help protect in COVID in the COVID-19, but also still maintain standards across all areas. So it all started with the risk assessments and the review, and then looking at products that were truly effective, that could also be trained and used by our daily team. So again, it was creating that daily protection, but also through our specialist services team that we have, we're then able to back support that with whether it was electrostatic or fogging treatments as required. So a combination of things.
I mean, it's interesting. You hit a couple of points in there that resonate. I mean, one is you talked about partnerships earlier on from your supply chain point of view, and then you basically alluded to the relationship, the partnership going beyond just customer and supplier that you've got with your end customers, and how working with them allowed you to address their needs and move forward in that. And partnership, I know it gets abused as a term, but I think it's really good. I think it says what you need to say, because if you're not in a partnership, you're in the wrong gig.
Give and take, but
yeah, okay. And then the other bit you touched on there, you talked about the value principle of what people are getting, how you're doing it, and a lot of it does come into this value for money approach now, I'm sure, with people turning around and thinking about where they are and what they're paying for and how they're doing it. And how do you kind of sit down and work out what a sensible approach is for one of your customers? I mean, is it all just about putting more people on a job, or is it about reducing the number of people on a job? What are your alternatives? How do you work that into the value proposition?
Yeah, sure. Well, so making that commitment to deliver best value as we do, or value for money, because again, we're not it's not about being the cheapest, etc. It is that best value, and ultimately that is the combination of being commercially competitive, but not at the expense, or ensuring you also deliver to the quality standards. And that's been around. That was obviously, that's been a constant mantra, sort of over the years, pre-COVID, and COVID's just added another dimension to that. So, sort of what have been the main pushes and pulls of that is you've got a situation where you've got an increase in wage rates. So whether it's national wages going up, foundation living wages going up, or just and then the general push on increments against those is going up. And then, as you say, particularly now with COVID, etc., you've got a challenge to the commercials. It's about how do you marry those two things. And the main thing we looked at with say pre-COVID was about agility and efficiency. And one of the biggest things that has affected our sector over the last, particularly say the last 2-3 years, is the access to technology, both from a financial perspective in terms of how cheap it is and how easy it is to use and implement. And that's from a internal systems perspective. So again, in terms of really classes say overheads, is about making sure that all our systems and processes are challenged, to remove paper-based systems, to make sure everything is running as agile as possible, and also out in the field in terms of operational delivery. So it's that looking at getting away from just the traditional sort of a standard traditional approach for people just getting in cars and driving around. It's using sort of app-based systems, whether it's in quality control, time and attendance, reporting, sharing of data, etc. All these things that ultimately mean that you are running as efficiently as possible, but without reducing the client time, or increasing the client time, because you're not stuck behind a computer filling out paperwork. You're with your teams and you're with your clients. And then on the front, in terms of the actual operation delivery, so in terms of how do you then, in terms of that increasing cost and not affecting service, and so ultimately productivity or how efficient, it's about looking at what things have come to market and say to build on the things that have enabled productivity enhancements in terms of specification, delivery, task trials, training, all those sorts of things. and that's where the game changer for and again, we've been looking at this since 2019, introduced in 2020, is robotics and cobotics, or as we call them, cobotics, as a way of genuinely being able to take a task that is within those resource hours. And pre-COVID, it was about then giving that resource to the team to make sure that they can focus on the attention to detail, cover for any short-term absences, etc. Post-COVID, that's a key element to us to be, do you know what, we can use those out, we can use that efficiency to increase the sanitization elements, the cleaning of touch points, hotspots throughout the building. So again, it's giving demonstrable proof of how you can increase productivity and efficiency, and ultimately that has a cost benefit, but also enhance the sanitization as well. So you're covering off all of those key challenges.
See, from me, you tick on so many points there. Being a software and apps guy, that's what we do. The use of software and apps, great, brilliant, that's fantastic. I think the robotics / cobotics, as you call it, and the other technologies, like sensors to pick up hotspots and things like this, but then using automated industrial machinery in the areas that you were talking about as well. I think it's all really good stuff, and it allows you to drive a differential there in terms of your service offering and what the customer can expect, because it's not just people are still a key part of it, but it's not just about people.
No, it's not. And again, the exciting thing, but for us, you won't stay a leading cleaning provider if you don't constantly look and find and identify the new things coming to the market. And we very much want to be seen as a pioneer role rather than a follower role. And so the next part of the journey, which is, we're saying, like with cobotics, is being trialled as we speak now for introduction in Q1, Q2 next year. And I know something that's close to your heart is the idea of the Internet of Things, using of data and sensors to deliver on the proof of clean. So again, this reassurance piece where it's because of this ability to be able to provide reassurance and comfort that how the cleaning is happening, where it's happening, is incredibly important. And being able to use, again, technology, and again, the advancement also has been the cost element of this technology has been reducing, because again, it's been cited as a concept for a period, but almost like the gatekeeper was the cost of investment. But as that has reduced, it's incredibly exciting, and it's the next part of providing comfort and in reality solutions to what is the new challenge. And again, there'll be more along the way, but all you can do is find solutions.
It's interesting. We've had a question pop up while we were doing this session, which was about the whole Internet of Things and the technologies, and you've touched on that a lot in terms of the sensors and what we can do. Other things that we've talked about in these kind of areas are the fact that you can have sensors that tell you the number of people that have used a bathroom. So rather than waiting till a scheduled time to clean it, you can actually dynamically move somebody over there. There's other systems about that will actually fog a bathroom automatically, and then there's the robotics and everything like that you bring into this. So I think we've kind of covered that point a little bit today. So
the stuff's moving so fast. Again, none of these things have been on the on the radar for some time, but it's just we seem to have kicked onto another gear in terms of new things coming to market. We see it within electric vehicles. Is new things are coming, every, probably 6 months, 12 months, that sort of frequency. And so where we're going with this, we're only just starting on what we can do. It's genuinely exciting, because what it does is it gives you genuine thing to be able to talk when, we always have those conversations. Everyone says we're innovative, but being able to give clients genuine, tangible sort of evidence of how you are, does, is exciting.
Okay. I mean, I think we've kind of covered the value for money. We've talked about some of the aspects that come into there in terms of the technology in the future to some extent. But I guess if we had a crystal ball right now, the big question is really what do you feel your end client, the FM customer, should be thinking about in terms of their planning for 2021? I mean, where should they be looking? What should they be thinking about for 2021 from a cleaning perspective?
Well, again, it would start very much with, as I'm sure they're no doubt already underway with, with their return to the workplace strategy, because that ultimately gives direction both for themselves and for their service partner. And once, and again, working with service partners, not something they've got to do on their own, but once they understand as much as anyone can what 2021 looks like, it's going to, and again, it's about engaging with the market, engaging with the best, sort of the best partners out there to be able to make sure that you have a fit for purpose service for the challenges of 2021, and say that's very much starting with 20 with risk assessments of what you need, so it's tailored to what you need, so it's not one size fits all. It's about getting that specification out and making sure and totally sort of reviewing it and challenging it. And the other part, which I don't think I've touched on, is one of the other key spends within cleaning is periodic budgets. So it's about reviewing that periodic spend, and we've done it with clients where we said, okay, it's about intelligent spend, full stop. But in this particular area about consumables, periodic spend, is about saying, right, that's what it's been. How can we review some of the frequencies, etc., to build in, whether it's electrostatic cleaning or some the cleaning that can be trained by the clean teams to do. So again, and just you go through that process, and again, so you look at specification and the training and equipment, and basically stress testing every element of that. Also looking at the estates, people's estates will be changing considerably. So again, making sure that the supplier is able to provide that level of flexibility, willing and able, because again, it's not without challenge, but they've got to be able to meet that. And so when you've gone through that journey, all you can say, all you need to be able to say at that point is, we are ready for what we where we are now, and then again through that relationship and partnership, every step of the way, every time that there's change, etc., you can adapt and change together.
That seems very sensible. All right. I mean, really thinking about that. I mean, as people are coming up and looking at what they're doing, and thinking about bringing cleaners in and thinking about renewing their contracts, etc. One of the things we're going to give at the end of this is Jamie and Birkin have very kindly put a quick takeaway together for us, for people, just kind of a number of things they should be thinking about around this area. So what we'll do is, if anybody wants to either contact us through the comments section or come back to us on this, we'll send that along to you, or we'll put a link up that you can download it from. But just come back to us on that and we'll put that up there and make it available to you. I mean, I think there's been a lot of food for thought in today's session. This is conversational. I've not got any more questions yet, but while I'm waiting to see if anybody asks any more questions, I'll touch on a couple of other bits. I'd first of all like to thank Jamie for his time today. I really do appreciate it. I'd also like to say thank you to our guests and attendees today, and for the questions we got earlier on, which I think by steering the conversation, we've covered most of that. We will be doing another one in this series on the 5th of November, so please come along to that. You can either follow the Infraspeak page on LinkedIn, or connect up to me on LinkedIn, or connect up to Jamie on LinkedIn. We both look like our pictures, so you shouldn't have too much trouble in finding us. And if you've got any questions, come back, as we say, either through the comments or directly. We'll be more than happy to address those. I don't have any additional questions. Do you have any other points that you'd like to raise, Jamie, or anything else?
No, again, as I say, hope, sort of, really welcome and thanks for the opportunity to talk. As I said, again, as I've said a couple of times, I think just at the moment it's about positivity. I think people want positivity, and that's not to downplay or underestimate the challenges we're under. But if we can work together with solutions, and positivity, we'll make it through.
Well, once again, I would like to say thank you very much to Jamie. Thank you to everybody else. My name is Larry O'Brien. This has been Talks with Infraspeak. We'll be doing another session on November the 5th. But in the meantime, please stay strong and stay safe. And we'll look forward to hearing from you in the future. Thank you.